Have you ever felt as if your life is unfolding according to someone else's script? That behind the routines, the obligations, and the noise, there's a part of you whispering, questioning, searching for something more. What if I told you that most people live their entire lives without ever discovering the one truth that could awaken their destiny? Today, we're not just talking about finding your purpose as a goal or a career. We are stepping into a deeper dimension, where purpose is the very architecture of your soul, hidden beneath layers of illusion and habit. There is a secret law at play, one that the world does not teach, and it is quietly orchestrating your reality every moment. And yet, understanding it is not complicated, it just requires a shift in perception. By the end of this video, you will not only understand the mystical structure of purpose, but will learn how to access it step by step, even if you feel lost or confused, even if the path seems invisible. Purpose is not something that can be grasped through logic or measured with external achievements. It is not hidden in a single job, relationship, or accomplishment. To seek it externally is to chase shadows, glimpses of something that only exists fully within the subtle architecture of your inner world. Your purpose is woven into the patterns of your consciousness, embedded in the threads of your desires, your curiosities, and the instincts you often dismiss as fleeting or trivial. Most of us have been taught to equate purpose with measurable outcomes. The title we hold, the recognition we receive, the impact we leave behind. Yet these are only reflections, distant echoes of what your soul truly seeks. They can guide you temporarily, but they are not the origin, the source. True purpose emerges not from accumulation or approval, but from alignment with the hidden currents of your being. Every thought, action, and reaction carries a vibration, a frequency, a message from deeper within. Life is speaking to you through repetition, through the moments that stir curiosity or discomfort. Patterns emerge, not by coincidence, but by design, the design of a consciousness that knows more than your conscious mind can yet comprehend. When you pause to observe, without judgment or expectation, you begin to recognize the subtle threads that connect your experiences. You may notice the people who appear repeatedly, the situations that challenge you the most, the subjects that awaken an unexplainable fascination. These are not random occurrences. They are signals, whispers of a deeper blueprint, nudging you toward the expression of your essence. Purpose is inherently multidimensional. It is not static or linear. It shifts and evolves as you evolve. What may have felt like purpose a year ago could now feel hollow or incomplete. The process of discovering purpose is therefore continuous, a dynamic interplay between self-observation, experimentation, and reflection. It is in the intersections of your natural inclinations and the demands of the world where clarity begins to form. Sometimes the lessons are painful. Sometimes the clarity emerges only after repeated mistakes or detours. But every challenge, every frustration, every sense of being lost carries within it a message that brings you closer to understanding who you are meant to become. To perceive purpose, you must develop a new lens, one that sees beneath the surface, beyond the immediate narrative of life. You must attune to the subtle language of your consciousness, the feelings of resonance that arise when you are fully engaged, the inner tug toward certain pursuits, the moments when time seems to disappear and you feel most alive. These are not coincidences. They are the compass points that guide you toward the alignment between your daily life and the deeper currents of your destiny. Awareness is not passive, it is active perception. The more you notice, the more clarity emerges, and the more your life begins to take on a sense of intentionality and cohesion that transcends superficial goals or societal expectations. Purpose is not a final destination. It is a living force, a dynamic vibration that must be cultivated, nourished, and expressed. Like a hidden river beneath the landscape of your existence, it moves silently but powerfully, shaping the contours of your life in ways that are often invisible at first. The process of uncovering it is both subtle and profound. Subtle because it unfolds in moments that can easily be overlooked. Profound because it transforms your entire experience of reality. When you begin to recognize the threads, to follow the currents, you start to live in alignment with a deeper rhythm, one that brings coherence to chaos, meaning to confusion, and a sense of inevitability to the path that unfolds before you. In this way, discovering purpose is not a quest for external validation, but an intimate dialogue with your own consciousness. It requires patience, self-trust, and a willingness to confront illusions and false identities that have obscured your vision. It requires listening to the quiet signals, interpreting the signs that the universe constantly presents, and responding with actions that reflect the resonance of your inner self. In doing so, you begin to awaken to a level of clarity and understanding that most people never experience. You start to realize that life is not a random series of events, but a deliberate orchestration, a vast, intricate pattern that you are both observing and participating in, moment by moment. Most people spend their lives running from uncertainty, seeking clarity, safety, and certainty in the world outside. We are taught to avoid confusion, to label what we don't understand as wrong or undesirable, and yet it is precisely within the spaces of uncertainty, the pauses of doubt, and the moments of inattention that the door to your true purpose quietly exists. What if the very feelings you have been trying to escape, the indecision, the restlessness, the nagging sense that something is missing, are not obstacles at all, but signals pointing directly toward the life you were born to live? Think about the times in your life when things felt off, when nothing seemed to fit, when fear and frustration crowded your mind. Most people interpret these moments as failure, as misfortune, or as punishment from life. But in truth, they are markers, guiding posts that highlight the areas of yourself that are ready to awaken. Life is constantly sending messages, often in forms that feel inconvenient, uncomfortable, or even impossible to interpret. Yet the patterns are there. If you learn to look beyond the surface, to examine these moments as invitations rather than hindrances, the clarity you seek begins to emerge. Here is the twist that most never notice. Your confusion is not a void to be filled. It is a compass pointing inward. It is an invisible signal guiding you toward uncharted territory, toward aspects of your essence that have long been dormant or unacknowledged. What you have been calling mistakes, wrong turns, or detours may, in reality, be the universe's method of steering you toward hidden strengths, unique talents, or deep truths that cannot be accessed through conventional paths. The experiences that have made you uncomfortable, the relationships that have challenged you, the fears that have held you back, all of these are part of the intricate choreography of discovery. And yet, most people fail to notice because the mind seeks immediate answers. We crave certainty and security, but purpose rarely arrives in neat packages. It often emerges in fragments, glimpses, and subtle nudges. You may find yourself inexplicably drawn to ideas, people, or activities that seem unrelated to your current path. You may notice repetitive thoughts or recurring sensations of "this feels important" without knowing why. These are the breadcrumbs that the universe leaves for you. They are the markers along the threshold, signaling that the path you are meant to take is not yet fully visible, but it exists if you have the patience, awareness, and courage to follow it. The challenge is that the mind often resists what is unfamiliar. Confusion generates fear. Fear generates avoidance. And avoidance delays recognition of your purpose. But imagine if, instead, you could shift your perspective to see confusion as a sacred teacher, uncertainty as a doorway, and the uncomfortable moments of life as invitations to awaken deeper perception. This is the skill that separates those who drift through life from those who discover the resonance of their true self. The door you have been ignoring is always present. It does not appear with fanfare. It is quiet, subtle, and often invisible to those who are seeking only certainty and control. But when you lean into your discomfort, when you allow yourself to inhabit the unknown and examine your inner responses without judgment, the door begins to open. You will start noticing synchronicities, meaningful coincidences, and insights that arise in the most ordinary circumstances. Life will feel like it is pointing you repeatedly toward a direction that you have long suspected but never fully acknowledged. And in that recognition, the tension of confusion transforms into a pulse of curiosity, a quiet, insistent signal that you are moving toward the alignment you have been seeking. Ultimately, the key is to embrace what others resist, to see fear, doubt, and confusion not as enemies, but as allies. They are the mirrors reflecting the parts of yourself that are ready to grow, the hidden corridors where your gifts and purpose reside. The paradox, though I won't name it explicitly, is that clarity often emerges only when we step fully into the very thing we fear, the unknown. Your confusion is not a blockage, it is the entrance, it is the turning point, and it is waiting for you to take the first step, not blindly, but with awareness, curiosity, and trust in the hidden intelligence that animates your life. Here is the truth that underlies everything you have been seeking. Purpose is not something hidden in the outside world. It is not a job title, a status, or even a goal to achieve. The deepest and most enduring sense of life's purpose is not created, it is remembered. It is already encoded in your essence, in the unbroken stream of consciousness that precedes the mind, the ego, and all societal expectations. When you begin to grasp this, you realize that the act of seeking is not about acquisition, it is about recognition. Consider for a moment how memory works. Memories are not created from thin air, they are recollections of what already exists, waiting to be awakened. Purpose functions in the same way. It is the recollection of who you truly are beneath the layers of habit, fear, and identity imposed upon you. And just as a memory can be triggered by the faintest sound, scent, or image, your purpose is triggered by resonance, by the subtle alignment of your thoughts, actions, and inclinations with your authentic self. When these threads converge, the pattern becomes visible, unmistakable, and deeply compelling. Discovering your life purpose is not about forcing clarity through effort alone. Effort without alignment often produces frustration, exhaustion, and the illusion of movement. Purpose reveals itself when awareness, intuition, and action converge. Awareness allows you to see patterns in your behavior, the recurring experiences, and the inner stirrings that you may have ignored for years. Intuition guides you toward the directions and choices that feel magnetic yet unexplainable. And action, the living expression of that insight, transforms abstract recognition into a tangible reality. Without the combination of these three, purpose remains invisible, a shadow behind the veil of ordinary life. To truly awaken this inner knowledge, one must embark on a journey of deep self-observation. This begins with noticing what draws your attention and what repels it. Notice the experiences that leave you energized, even if they make no logical sense. Notice the subjects that spark an internal resonance, a quiet excitement that cannot be explained by practicality or social expectation. Notice the aspects of life that provoke discomfort, resistance, or fear, because these too are signposts, often pointing to the areas where your growth and alignment are most necessary. Each of these experiences is a subtle clue, a thread in the invisible tapestry of your being. Purpose is not linear. It is not a single fixed point in time or space. It evolves as you evolve, deepening and expanding as your consciousness expands. What may have felt like purpose a decade ago could now feel limiting or incomplete. Purpose is dynamic. It is living, breathing, and responsive. It adjusts as your awareness grows, as your understanding deepens, and as your ability to act with authenticity increases. Life, in this sense, is less a journey toward something external and more an unfolding recognition of what has always been within you. There are 5 transformative steps to awaken this remembrance of purpose. Steps that work together to create a resonance between your inner world and the outer life. Self-observation. Begin by observing your thoughts, impulses, and desires without judgment. Notice patterns, recurring themes, and hidden inclinations. Awareness itself is the first act of alignment, illuminating the currents that have always guided you. Intuitive listening. Learn to trust the quiet voice of intuition, the subtle instincts and inklings that arise spontaneously. These impulses are the language of your inner self, speaking in a dialect that logic alone cannot decipher. Release of illusions. Let go of the identities, beliefs, and narratives that no longer serve your growth. These may include societal pressures, inherited expectations, or outdated self-concepts. Releasing what is false creates the space necessary for recognition of what is true. Active alignment. Begin taking intentional actions that resonate with your essence. Even small steps matter. Each alignment strengthens the vibration of your purpose, creating feedback loops that guide you deeper into your path. Embodied expression. True purpose emerges when insight transforms into action. Living your purpose means expressing your authentic self through your choices, your work, and the relationships you cultivate. It is not an abstract ideal, it is lived reality, moment by moment. The beauty of this insight is that it dissolves the illusion of separation between you and your destiny. You are not a passive observer of life, waiting for some external sign or opportunity to illuminate your path. You are the orchestrator, the participant, and the witness all at once. When alignment occurs, even ordinary events are infused with meaning. Conversations, encounters, and seemingly trivial decisions become conduits for the unfolding of purpose. The world itself begins to respond as though it were aware of your presence, guiding you through synchronistic events and subtle nudges toward your authentic expression. Understand this: purpose is not static, and it is not conditional. It is a vibration that exists independent of external validation or approval. The world may not recognize it, and circumstances may obscure it, yet the frequency of your essence remains constant, waiting for acknowledgement. To live in alignment with it is to live in a state of coherence, where intuition, action, and awareness converge. This alignment creates a life that feels magnetic, purposeful, and deeply satisfying, even amidst challenges and uncertainty. And perhaps the most profound revelation of all is this: the journey to discover purpose is itself the awakening of consciousness. It is not simply a means to an end, it is the conscious experience of remembering who you are, moment by moment, in all the complexity, beauty, and mystery of existence. It is the recognition that life is not a random series of events, but a deliberate unfolding, a vast, intricate design that you are both discovering and co-creating. It's easy to feel isolated when you are searching for your life purpose. In a world that constantly tells you what you should want, how you should act, and who you should become, it's easy to feel that your confusion, your questions, and your doubts are signs of failure. You may look at others and feel that they have it all figured out, that their lives flow with ease, that their purpose is obvious. But the truth is, far from that perception. Almost everyone, at some point, wrestles with the same sense of uncertainty, the same restless feeling that something important is missing. The difference is that some people begin to listen to it, while others continue to ignore it, drowning it in distractions, expectations, and obligations. You are not lost. Even in the moments when life feels chaotic, when clarity seems impossible, when fear and doubt dominate your inner world, these moments are not evidence of failure. They are evidence that your soul is stirring, that it is alive, and that it is calling you to pay attention. Every thought that lingers, every curiosity that tugs at your heart, every uncomfortable feeling is a signal. It is the quiet voice of your inner self, nudging you toward the alignment that your consciousness has always been seeking. You are being invited to notice, to acknowledge, and to engage with the deeper truth of who you are. Consider for a moment how deeply human this experience is. We are all navigating the tension between what is familiar and what is unknown, between the life we inherited and the life we are meant to create. There is a sacredness in this tension. It is the space where transformation occurs. The very fact that you are asking these questions, that you feel this restlessness, that you sense a deeper calling, this is proof that your inner self is alive, waiting to guide you, waiting to be recognized. This is the mark of someone who is awake enough to remember that life is not simply a sequence of events, but a living, breathing conversation with existence itself. You may feel overwhelmed, wondering how to bridge the gap between who you are now and who you are meant to become. That overwhelm is part of the process. It is the space between recognition and embodiment, the space in which your soul challenges you to trust yourself. And here is the mystical truth. You do not need to have all the answers right now. Purpose is not a destination that can be reached in a single leap. It is a living, unfolding process. Each moment of awareness, each choice aligned with your inner truth, each step taken toward what feels authentic, brings you closer to the expression of your essence. It is also important to recognize that this path is deeply personal. No one else can define it for you, and no external framework can fully contain it. Friends, mentors, spiritual guides, all can offer insight, tools, and perspective, but the resonance of purpose can only be discovered from within. It emerges when you cultivate a relationship with yourself that is honest, compassionate, and observant. It emerges when you learn to listen without judgment, to honor your curiosity, and to trust the subtle messages your consciousness is sending you. It emerges when you remember that your life is not a series of coincidences, but a carefully orchestrated flow in which you are both participant and observer. And yet, in all this, there is comfort in knowing you are not alone. Every person who has ever asked the same questions, who has ever felt the weight of uncertainty, who has ever stared into the depths of their own confusion, is walking a path parallel to yours. Your struggle is universal, even as your path is uniquely yours. There is a hidden solidarity in this realization, a quiet reassurance that the restlessness you feel is not a flaw, but a sign of awakening. In recognizing this, you can begin to transform your relationship with uncertainty. Instead of resisting it, you can begin to honor it. Instead of fearing it, you can begin to listen to it. Your confusion is not a wall, but a doorway. Your doubt is not a signal to stop, but a call to explore more deeply. And as you step into this awareness, you begin to feel a profound shift, a sense of connection, not only to yourself, but to the larger currents of life that are guiding you, supporting you, and unfolding your purpose quietly, patiently, and inevitably. You are not alone. Your questions are sacred. Your confusion is a doorway. Your restlessness is an invitation. And in acknowledging this, you are taking the first step toward a life lived in resonance with the deepest truths of your being. Now comes the moment where insight meets action, where understanding transforms into conscious awakening. Purpose is not a passive concept to admire from a distance, nor is it something to chase frantically in the external world. Purpose is a living frequency, a vibration that waits for recognition, a resonance that becomes tangible when you consciously attune yourself to it. And this attunement begins not with grand gestures, but with subtle, deliberate choices. Small steps that ripple outward, creating patterns of alignment that your mind may not yet fully comprehend. The first step in awakening is observation. Begin to notice the subtle signals that life is constantly presenting, the fleeting thoughts that capture your attention, the people and experiences that evoke deep curiosity, the moments when time seems to disappear because you are fully absorbed. These are not trivial. They are the threads leading you into the invisible corridors of your destiny. Notice without judgment, without forcing interpretation, without rushing to conclusions. Simply observing these currents is a sacred act of awareness that opens doors previously unseen. Next comes listening, truly listening to the quiet whispers of your intuition. Intuition is often dismissed as impractical or unreliable, yet it is the language of your higher self, the subtle voice of the consciousness that knows your essence beyond the constraints of logic. It speaks in moments of stillness, in feelings of resonance, in a persistent pull toward ideas, activities, or paths that cannot yet be explained. To awaken is to honor this inner guidance, to trust it even when the rational mind resists, and to act in ways that reflect its subtle direction. Action, however, is the bridge between knowing and being. Awareness without expression remains internal, abstract, and incomplete. Purpose manifests when insight transforms into deliberate steps. These actions do not need to be monumental. They need to be consistent and aligned with your inner truth. Every small decision made in alignment with your inner resonance, every courageous choice to follow curiosity instead of fear, every instance of honoring what feels authentic, reinforces the frequency of your purpose. Over time, these choices compound, creating momentum that carries you into experiences, relationships, and opportunities that feel synchronistic, meaningful, and divinely guided. Equally essential is the cultivation of presence. Awakening is not found in striving, achieving, or planning endlessly for a future that may never arrive. It is found in conscious engagement with the moment, the recognition that this very instant is the doorway to your purpose. Presence allows you to perceive the subtle patterns, the unseen alignments, the hidden intelligence orchestrating your life. It is through presence that life begins to reveal its guidance, showing you the next step, not as a forced decision, but as a natural unfolding. And here lies the mystical paradox. Awakening does not require control, yet it requires courage. You cannot force life to reveal your purpose, but you can choose to align yourself with its currents, to trust the subtle architecture of your consciousness, and to act in harmony with the signs and signals you encounter. Courage is required, because this path may diverge from comfort, challenge habitual patterns, and defy expectations imposed by the world or even by your own mind. Yet, it is precisely through this courage that your essence is liberated, that the invisible path becomes visible, and that purpose begins to manifest in ways that feel effortless, magnetic, and profoundly real. Finally, awakening is not a solitary act, but a conscious relationship with life itself. It is an invitation to participate fully in the dance of existence, to honor the intelligence that flows through you, and to embody the alignment that you have been seeking. It is an inward journey, yet its effects ripple outward, shaping relationships, experiences, and even the way the world responds to you. When you step into this invisible path, you do not merely find your purpose, you begin to live it moment by moment as a continuous unfolding of resonance, insight, and authentic expression. The call is clear. Notice the threads, listen to the whispers, act in alignment, cultivate presence, and embrace courage. Purpose is not a distant destination. It is a living experience waiting to be recognized, claimed, and embodied. Every choice you make in alignment with your inner self is a step deeper into the invisible path, a step that draws you closer to the life you are always meant to live. As we arrive at the end of this journey together, pause not with your eyes, but with your consciousness. Pause in the sense of presence, in the subtle recognition that the path we have traced is not a map to be followed externally, but a mirror reflecting your own inner landscape. The search for life purpose is not a linear journey, nor is it a distant summit to be conquered. It is a homecoming, a return to yourself, to the resonance that has always existed beneath the noise of expectations, the weight of doubt, and the illusions that obscure clarity. In truth, your purpose was never lost. It did not require discovery in the way one discovers a hidden treasure in the world. It was always alive, embedded in your consciousness, flowing through your thoughts, your emotions, your impulses, and even the subtle patterns of your existence that you have barely noticed. What was required was not searching, but remembering. A remembering that becomes possible only when you attune to the quiet currents of your inner self, when you trust the unseen orchestration of life, and when you begin to act in alignment with the frequency of your essence. Consider how moments of stillness, reflection, and awareness reveal a reality far greater than what the eye perceives. Life, in its ordinary movements, conceals extraordinary guidance. Each encounter, each challenge, each inspiration, and each impulse carries a resonance that, when noticed, becomes a guidepost. The tapestry of your existence, once fragmented and confusing, begins to show patterns, a symphony of synchronicities, a choreography of meaning, a design far more subtle and profound than what reason alone can discern. And yet, the beauty of purpose is not only in recognition, but in participation. To embody it is to engage with life as both witness and creator. It is to act, not from obligation, but from resonance, not from fear, but from alignment. It is to move through the world with clarity, not as someone who controls life, but as someone who participates in the unfolding intelligence of existence. The world around you becomes responsive, not because it bends to desire, but because you have harmonized your inner vibration with the currents that have always been moving beneath the surface of reality. In this return to yourself, you begin to perceive a sacred rhythm. The confusion of the past, the fear, the detours, the moments of indecision, all of it now appears as preparation, as a series of lessons and invitations designed to awaken the awareness you carry. The very uncertainties that once seemed unbearable are now understood as essential catalysts, shaping you, refining your perception, and guiding you toward alignment. This is the paradox of awakening. Clarity emerges not in the absence of confusion, but through its careful navigation, through its recognition, and through the trust that your consciousness is always pointing toward truth. So now, step into your life with the awareness that you are both the seeker and the found, both the question and the answer, both the observer and the unfolding of the journey itself. The currents of your purpose are subtle but undeniable. They are present in each choice, each thought, each moment you allow yourself to notice. Your life is not random. It is a reflection of your consciousness, your awareness, and the alignment you cultivate. And in this recognition, you discover the ultimate freedom, the freedom to live with intention, resonance, and authenticity, in harmony with the hidden intelligence that flows through all things. As this video closes, let the understanding linger in your mind and body. Let it expand in your consciousness. Life is calling you, not with noise but with quiet signals, with subtle currents, with the invisible threads of purpose that have always been present. The path was never hidden. It was always within you, waiting for acknowledgement, for resonance, for awakening. You have only to notice, trust, and step forward. And in that stepping, in that conscious engagement, you return fully to yourself, to the rhythm, to the intelligence, to the life that you were always meant to live.